Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're here watching the sunset over Watford.
Yeah.
And some bugs are flying around us.
As if on cue.
As if on cue. There weren't any bugs
No.
here before.
Literally when we just
As soon as we said action.
Cheapers.
So yeah, we've just discovered this little park. We had to drive here. It's I think it's called, what was it? Oxy Park. Some of you may know it.
Oxy Park.
Oxy Park.
You're going to hear from my voice. I'm still not recovered.
Yeah, that's why we haven't done any readings a few days.
Oh, because I couldn't talk.
She couldn't talk. So we're going to read now, though. Okay, so reading from the Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, and we're reading from the 4th canto.
Yeah.
Haribo, 4th canto.
4th canto.
And reading from the 1st chapter of the 4th canto, and we're starting with text number 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I couldn't even say that. Cheapers.
It's still a little chilly out, actually. Got my gloves on.
Alright, text 3. Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualifications and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities, begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti. Papa. The word Brahma Vachasvi is very significant. Ruchi was a Brahmana, and he executed the Brahminical duties very rigidly. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Brahminical qualifications are control of the senses, control of the mind, cleanliness within and without, development of spiritual and material knowledge, simplicity, truthfulness, faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, etc. There are many qualities which indicate a Brahminical personality, and it is understood that Ruchi followed all the Brahminical principles rigidly. And therefore, he is specifically mentioned as Brahma Vachasvi, one who is born of a Brahmana father but does not act as a Brahmana is called, in Vedic language, a Brahma Bandhu, and is calculated to be on the level of Shudras and women. Oh dear. Thus, in the Bhagavatam, we find that Mahabharata was specifically compiled by Vyasadeva for Stri, Shudra, Brahma Bandhu. Stri means women, Shudra means the lower class of civilized human society, and Brahma Bandhu means persons who are born in the families of Brahmanas but do not follow the rules and regulations carefully. All of these 3 classes are called less intelligent. They have no access to the study of the Vedas, which are specifically meant for persons who have acquired the Brahminical qualifications. This restriction is based not upon any sectarian distinction, but upon qualification. The Vedic literatures cannot be understood unless one has developed the Brahminical qualifications. It is regrettable, therefore, that persons who have no Brahminical qualifications and have never been trained under a bona fide spiritual master nevertheless comment on Vedic literatures like the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, for such persons cannot deliver their real message. Ruchi was considered a first-class Brahmana, therefore he is mentioned here as Brahma Vachasvi, one who had full prowess in Brahminical strength. There you go.
Hard to say, I'm going to be honest. Okay.
Oh, really? Yes, so interesting. It was interesting. We had a discussion at the weekend with some devotees, and we were talking about initiation and karma, and karma being cleansed, as it were, taken away by the spiritual master, taken in Brahmin initiation. And what was it? Someone made a point that, hang on a minute, because we were talking about anartas, and there's 4 types of anartas from previous sinful activities, pious activities, through the through bhakti, through devotional service improperly performed, and through offences. And someone just mentioned, like, because they initiated, the person that mentioned it, yeah, but all my karma, I shouldn't have any reactions, I shouldn't be suffering, I shouldn't be. And it was interesting, and she's Brahmin, so I was like, okay, so yeah, your spiritual master wiped the slate clean, that's what we understand, and you wipe the slate clean from not just this life, but all the lives. Lord knows how many lives you've had. But are you saying you have kept that slate clean from that day onwards? Are you saying that you have followed purely, and that you haven't been like the elephant in the nectar of instruction, who Prabhupada gives example, as a bath comes out and then throws mud all over himself? Can you say that? I was like, so there you go, So the reason I brought that point up was because Prabhupada's emphasizing here about Ruchi, who's a Brahmin, not just in name as such, Brahmin, but in qualification. Whereas you get other people who are Brahmin, this is Brahma Bandhu, born into a family of Brahmins. So, who are not qualified. They designate themselves as being qualified in that way. So
born Brahmin.
Yeah. So, it just reminded me of that we have to act in that ashram or vana, whatever. Sometimes it's very easy to give ourselves a title or think we've arrived because we have this qualification or that. But it's actually, like I was saying to these devotees, it's very deep. It's very deep, this process, in that sense, to really live that philosophy, But it's very easy to say, but yeah, try and be happy. Where's the happiness? Or, I got initiated, karma's gone, why am I suffering? It's very easy, but it's to apply it and to live it truly is another thing, Truly, without just having a title or whatever. I'm not saying this person was acting how they got a title, in case they're watching. That's what I'm going to say. But I can't speak much.
Yeah, we were noticing that. Couple of things on that point that I've understood. First is that the spiritual master, and I'm not sure if I could find the exact Shastric quote for it, and that would be important to do, the pramanam, but my understanding is that the spiritual master removes all the karma except for a residual amount that you'll need to finish off this life. And one may say, well, that seems stupid, and why is that? And that's because if all your karma is removed, then in one sense you no longer have a body, so you'd probably be kind of, I guess, dead on the spot, something like that. Of course, you could say, well, what about the pure devotee? Are they functioning under karma? No. But Prabhupada says in one purport, he says, once you surrender to Krishna, Krishna personally takes charge of your karma, and he nets out exactly what you need at exactly the right time and exactly the right dose, so that you learn and grow and develop in your spiritual consciousness. And so Srila Prabhupada calls that Krishna karma. He says because Krishna is specifically administering that karma. So those are a few points that I've understood around that. The other thing was very, very good point, which is, like the elephant, that we may take initiation, the spiritual master removes all our karma. And most devotees, if not all, but at least for sure most, have an experience that after initiation, the next day they just feel so light and like, wow, so free. But, unless we're chanting pure Nam, Shuddha Nam, there has not been a helicopter anywhere near here for the last 20 minutes.
The last 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Jeepers.
But as soon as, so you take initiation and it's all cleared off. But if you're not chanting Shuddhanam, then you may be chanting on the clearing stage. But if you're not chanting on the clearing stage, then you're chanting Nam Aparad, and then that means that you're committing offenses against the holy name. Or you may perform Dham Aparad or Jiva Aparad, so you may be committing some offenses. But it's also explained shastrically that even going for a walk, lighting a fire, going to the toilet, breathing, drinking water, these types of things incur karmic activities because you're performing an action and there will be a reaction. So just going for a walk, just walking through the grass to get over here, we probably annihilated several universes of bugs. And when you drink water, there's certain like not bacteria or certain things.
Algae.
I don't think I saw any algae in the water, but algae is like the green stuff that floats on top. But there is definitely living entities there. Breathing, there are little living entities. Scratching, that was the other one. Itching.
Jeez.
On your skin, there are living entities living. So in this way, everything we do in the material world is having some consequence on another living entity at the most basic level. So that means we're creating new karma. Now, that new karma can be eradicated in two ways. One is that we're performing high enough level of devotional service that it's removing it. Let's say three ways. That we're chanting the holy name, which is also obviously devotional service, but we're chanting on the Shuddhanam platform, that's eradicating it. And or that the spiritual master who's taking responsibility for us is chanting pure name enough to not only keep himself clear of these of karmic reactions, but all of his disciples, or all of his or her disciples. So that's a pretty big task. So it means we have to come to the platform of performing pure devotional service and chanting pure name. Then we become free from all those things. What do you think of that? Does that make sense or not? What do you have to say?
I already said what I'm going to say.
Okay, all right. So shall we read the next one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Everyone's waiting.
Are they? Waiting.
Yes, number 4. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm not sorry. Text number 4. Of the 2 children born of Akuti, the male child was directly an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yagya, which is another name of Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Purport. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Here it is stated that both the Lord and Lakshmi, who are eternal consorts, appeared from Akuti simultaneously. Both the Lord and his consort are beyond this material creation, as confirmed by many authorities. Narayana Pado Vyaktat. Therefore, their eternal relationship cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. And Yagya, the boy born of Akuti, later married the goddess of fortune. Yeah. So it's good Prabhupada qualified that, because otherwise we'd be talking about brother and sister getting married. Which, in general is not the done thing. In any, I guess, pretty much. Although, amongst certain communities, they only marry in their community. Amongst royals, they only marry royals. Here comes some parrots.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So like that. So anyway, the point being that whether Vishnu and Lakshmi take birth as brother and sister, or take birth as twins, take birth as, whatever their physical form, that doesn't change their eternal spiritual form, which is as, Lakshmi, the wife of the goddess of Krishna, Vishnu, Narayan, the husband of the goddess of fortune, like that.
But it's funny you say about, because obviously, incest, you mean?
Yeah, that's what it's called when you marry.
Yeah, it's just
family.
literally just yesterday in the news. His family, he's going to make this up. His family in West Virginia, they're all inbred. Someone did a documentary, and when they're approaching, because in a lot of farmland, the houses are on a lot of land, so he's walking up to get to the house, and they started barking at him, because this is what happens.
The people or the dogs?
Nah, the inbreds in West Virginia, they're a family, and there were pictures of it. It was quite scary actually, and they didn't really talk properly and that, and he was just, what is this? This is now. I'm not like now, and he did a whole documentary on it. It was a bit scary. Anyway.
Okay. Did you make that up?
I didn't. I know things I did because he comes from Virginia, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I showed to you.
I come from Maryland and Virginia. West Virginia is a little bit over on that side, but we do go there from time to time.
Text 5. Swayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yagya, and Ruchi, his son-in-law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina. Purport. Swayambhuva Manu was very glad to... because remember Swayambhuva Manu took his daughter's son, because his daughter's son was going to be, partial expansion of the Lord.
Direct expansion.
Direct.
Yeah.
Alright, so Swayambhuva Manu was very glad to see that his daughter Akuti had given birth to both a boy and a girl. He was afraid that he would take one son, and that because of this his son-in-law Ruchi might be sorry. I mean, he would be if you take his son anyway. Thus, when he heard that a daughter was born along with the boy, he was very glad. Ruchi, according to his promise, returned his male child to Swayambhuva Manu and decided to keep the daughter, whose name was Dakshina. One of Lord Vishnu's names is Yagya, because he is the master of the Vedas. The name Yagya comes from Yaju Shampati, which means Lord of all sacrifices. In the Yagya Veda, there are different ritualistic prescriptions for performing yagyas, and the beneficiary of all such yagyas is the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 9, Yagna tat karmana. One should act, but one should perform one's prescribed duties only for the sake of Yagya or Vishnu. If one does not act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if one does not perform devotional service, then there will be reactions to all one's activities. It does not matter if the reaction is good or bad. If our activities are not dovetailed with the desire of the Supreme Lord, or if we do not act in Krishna consciousness, then we shall be responsible for the results of all activities. There is always a reaction to every kind of action, but if actions are performed for yagya, there is no reaction. Thus, if one acts for yagya or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is not entangled in the material condition. Where is mentioned in the Vedas and also in Bhagavad Gita that the Vedas and the Vedic rituals are all meant for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. From the very beginning, one should try to act in Krishna consciousness. That will free one from the reactions of material activities. Interesting, isn't it, that it goes to that, talking about Yagya, another name for Lord Vishnu. We should please the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna. And it's interesting, Prabhupada goes to that, and a lot of the Prabhupada is on that point, but it starts off with the fact that Swayambhuva Manu took his grandson called Yagya from, and was thinking, my son-in-law going to be a bit upset. Okay, good, he had a twin girl, so he can have the girl. And now I'm just saying, as that, you know, generally in Indian whatever culture, you don't want the girl. They'll be like, Deepers, you took my boy, and then not only did you take my boy, but you left me with a girl. So yeah, I like this canto. It's very good. No, it's very good. Discussions. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure why you would take your grandson, especially if you know he's going to be incarnation of God, because you're the granddaddy, so you're going to be able to see him and get benefit and whatnot. There's no need to take a child from a mother who's just given birth. But
anyway, we already had this conversation before, and you know, the general thing is it's a rule. It's not a rule. It is a right, let's say, and it's an authorized, respected right that the father can ask of the daughter.
Because he had no male heirs.
Well, no, he did. He did have male heirs. That was the thing. That was why it was also
but they were no good.
Weird. No, it wasn't that they were no good either. Okay. She loves this canto so much she makes it up as she goes along. The point. No, it was that he was attached to the fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was going to appear. Yeah. He knew that. He's Swayambhuva Manu.
Yes.
So he knew that the Lord was going to appear.
Yes.
You know, so like that. And it's actually, it wasn't from, it was from his daughter. So he asked that specifically.
Yeah.
And then they're obliged, you know. So, but he was attached to the Lord, so he asked. But yeah, I mean.
So it's Lolium.
Yeah,
Lord.
He was attached to the Lord, so like that. But yeah, this whole point of yajna that it was Prabhupada spoke mostly about, that matches up with what I was saying earlier. We have to act on a platform, a spiritual platform, in order to become free from these material entanglements, from karma. You know, so you have to perform whatever you're doing connected with Krishna in yoga, in bhakti yoga. Yagyatar karmano yatra loko yam karma bandhanaha. That's the verse that Prabhupada quoted in there, which says work done as an offering to Krishna has to be performed. Otherwise, work simply causes bondage in this material world, and that means karma. So you were just talking about that. So this person who said, wait a minute, you know, I'm Brahmin initiated, you know, my guru took away all my karma, how come I still get reactions? Well, it's unlikely that that person is, you know, wholly and solely, day in and day out, all day dedicated to just serving. Yeah, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, and once you go to work and do any work for, you know, a boss who isn't, you know, giving, you know,
compromises there.
A compromise
in the material.
It generates
it's great.
karma. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
So like that. Okay, we're gonna finish there because it is so cold out here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's done my voice, lost voice, no end of good.
Yeah, no end of good. Yes. Anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in again. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.